Millennium Development Goals, as in post 2015 development agenda. Now, since the UN is in the process of designing a post 2015 development agenda, the UN and all other entities, including governments of states, have decided that this has to be a consultative process rather than a decision taken, like a set of rules and regulations made up by a panel of experts. So, in order to do that, the post 2015 development agenda requires the participation of many people in society. Youth is one key, not just one key, actually the most important component in society. And unfortunately, the Millennium Development Goals, when those were made, youth were not consulted and there was nothing mentioning about the youth.
Zero concentration.
Zero concentration about youth and also about persons with disabilities, I must say.
Okay.
So, those two sectors in society were basically stranded. They basically felt that they were abandoned by the mainstream. So this World Conference on Youth, which is going to happen in May this year in Sri Lanka, is a chance for young people to come back, to wake up to the call of creating a post-2015 development agenda. And this is a UN-supported intergovernmental thematic conference.
Okay.
So, to go into the specifics of the conference, this will happen from the 6th to the 10th of May 2014 at BMICH. And we have already sent out invitations to all the official member states of the UN, and we are planning to get many youth organizations and non-governmental organizations involved, as well as youth ministers from all around the world. Say now in Sri Lanka there's the National Youth Services Council.
Okay.
Like that, there are many youth mechanisms around the world. So we are planning to get all of them on board for the World Conference on Youth. We are not only planning, we are actually in the process of doing it right now. So having said all of that, there are many important themes which will be discussed at the World Conference on Youth. Education, environment. I mean, now say environment, education, employment, say persons with disabilities, equality, gender equality, all of that. When we discuss those, why a World Conference on Youth? Because now say education, there are specific problems which are related to young people concerning education.
Okay.
There are specific problems which are related to young people concerning employment. Those are the things which we are going to talk at the World Conference on Youth, and there will be an outcome document of the World Conference on Youth, and that outcome document will be tabled at the UN General Assembly in September 2014 this year by our President, His Excellency Honorable Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a tiny pebble going a long way. That's the best metaphor I can just grab out of the little bit of dictionary vocabulary I can have. Little things go a long way in this field, I assume, Jalil. What do you think?
Yes. This little thing will, I'm sure, end up being a very big thing.
And I think each and every one of us individual opinion always goes a long way.
Exactly.
And we need to understand the fact that none of us are kind of isolated in that particular manner.
Because, now
we
when you say isolated,
raise our voices heard.
Exactly, because, now when you say isolated, now I am actually the best example in this process, because I am a member of the International Youth Task Force organizing the World Conference on Youth. That's exactly why I have been talking about the World Conference on Youth for the past few minutes. But why me? I am you may call me a differently abled person, but I always identify myself, okay, come on, I am a disabled person, but I do lots of I do my stuff just like the others. So,
well, the answer to that is on your card. I shall read again because this is really motivational. There are those who look at things the way they are and ask why. I dream of things that never were and ask why not.
Exactly.
Well, we do have to take another glimpse of another song and enjoy it while the morning continues on here on Good Morning Sri Lanka. But we'll be back. The show isn't over. We'll be talking to this man over here more. Stay tuned. This is Good Morning Sri Lanka, and do not forget. You're back on Good Morning Sri Lanka on a beautiful Friday with Ishan Jalil, who is my guest today, and he's not a new guest. He's been here twice so far on Good Morning Sri Lanka. This is the lucky third time.
Yes,
Ishan, how are you feeling so far? Good?
Good.
Great?
All great.
All great. Great is the right word, not good, because we're always amazing here. We're doing terrific on Good Morning Sri Lanka. Well, so far we've talked about the journey, we've talked about the adventure that he's been a part of, and he just told me a while back that he is representing 1 billion people when it comes to differently abled people in the International Youth Task Force. That must be quite a commitment. Ishan, tell us about it.
Yeah, so I'll tell how this 1 billion thing came up.
Yes.
There was a report issued by the World Health Organization.
Okay.
It's called the World Disability Report. Right? This was issued in 2012. And according to that report, from the 7 billion people around the world, 1 billion are disabled. So like 1 in 7 is a disabled person.
Okay.
So when forming the International Youth Task Force to organize the World Conference on Youth, it was decided that persons with disabilities should be represented in the organizing committee, in the decision making level. So accordingly, I was given the chance, but it was not just a chance. I was interviewed. I had to go through a tedious process actually.
Okay.
And finally I got it. So I was able to.
How was the process?
What
was the interview process like? Was it tough?
It was tough, like it was like lots of people had come, and they they were asking very interesting questions, the interviewers.
Okay, with a separate board of judges, I assume.
Yeah, separate board of judges. They asked like very interesting questions about my contribution in terms of persons with disabilities, my activism, my experience in international level conferences, and all of that. So since I got this opportunity, basically what I have to do is, since the World Conference on Youth is not something small, it's not going to be a jamboree, it's not going to be a youth festival, it's going to be a major international conference which will shape the global youth agenda in the future. And this is not done just by young people. We can say, okay, enough with the adults, let's get on, let's do stuff on our own. No, that's not the thing. Or we can just give it to the adults and let them do whatever they want to do, and we'll just go on with a laid back approach. No, that's not the way either. So this is basically an intergenerational dialogue, like young people and adults get together, work together, and come to a concrete idea as to what needs to shape the post 2015 development agenda. So in that role, as a member of the International Youth Task Force, me as a disabled person, I am representing the grievances, the issues, the concerns faced by disabled persons. So whenever there is a meeting, whenever there are important discussions, I always make sure that I raise issues concerning disability. Now say there's a thematic area on education. So I talk about accessibility, quality education for persons with disabilities, especially young persons with disabilities, since this is the World Conference on Youth. So those are the things which I significantly touch upon.
So far from what you've done, has there been a positive impact?
Definitely. Like, this is, me being included in the International Youth Task Force is not just a symbolic gesture, or it's not just a tokenistic way of saying, okay, we have a disabled person as well, so be it. That's not the case. Like, whatever I have told so far in our meetings is being taken seriously and is going to be implemented at the World Conference on, as in not implemented, like those ideas will be put forward at the World Conference on Youth, so people can discuss and like come up with a proper concrete solution.
Okay, that's wonderful to hear. So what is your, if I can call it now, this is 2014.
Yes.
Take for 5 years into the future. 2019, what's your vision? Do you have a particular mission in life? Say, I want to do this and achieve this. As a young hero, I can call it right now. What's your future ambition?
So I have this I'm very passionate about the UN. Like as I told you, even when I joined the UN club when I was at St. Thomas's, that was a big deal for me.
That was the origin of all the dreams, I
yes,
assume.
and then again, I did my internship at UN Volunteers from January 2013 to April 2013. And also I have been involved in lots of Model UN activities.
Okay.
And anyway, I am like always, as you may know, I am a member of the National Volunteers Task Force, which is attached to the UN. So like, with my exposure to UN and given the fact that I have visited the UN headquarters itself like 3 times. I have visited New York, and the most recent being my visit to New York for the UN General Assembly. So like, I am pretty much exposed to UN activities, and since I love to work with the UN and for the UN, and since I love my country more than anything else, I want to do good to my country. I want to make sure that this country is the best country for young people and all peoples and everyone.
Well, Ishan, I can tell you, I can assure you that you've already started that journey. Well, plenty of good things are yet to come, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, so I want to wish you, before we actually wrap up the show, we have to talk more on what you've done so far. Congratulations and kudos to what you've done so far.
Thank you.
Now, interestingly, this question is a very. I'm asking this question on behalf of the public who has this particular question in mind. Now, you have a visual problem since birth.
Yes.
But yet, you manage to go on Facebook, Twitter, Skype, and then you converse, and then it seems like you watch TV, and basically everything. I say watch because you do watch.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you seem to have a perfectly normal life, just like a person with 100% visual success could do. Tell us a secret, especially how you converse online.
So it's like this. Now, when you
secrets revealed on Good Morning Sri Lanka, go for it.
Yeah. So it's like this. Like there might be many people, as Banu very rightly mentioned, there will be many people in the audience curious,
Yes.
Oh my God, how is this kid like doing work in the computer? So, this is the answer to that. Basically, I use the normal computer or the laptop or whatever you call it. I use the normal PC or even a laptop, right?
Yeah.
But then again, the only difference is I use something called a voice software. A voice software which acts as a screen reader. So when you install the voice software, basically you can actually download them online.
Okay.
As in you can download the voice software online and install it in your computer, and for which of course you need the assistance of another person, since like after downloading only the voice software activates.
Okay.
So like until then you need the support of assistance of another person. But then again, after you install the voice software acts as a screen reader. So whatever you type in the computer, say I am typing A in the computer, it reads out to me so that I know that I typed A. Or like if I go on Facebook, as in now say for obvious reasons I can't see the mouse, as in I can't see the cursor. So instead of using the mouse, which you guys are doing, what I do is use the arrow key